Thanks for tuning in for this episode, How New Zealand Police is Mobilizing its Police Force. I'm Laura Thiesel for HxGN TV, and joining me today with New Zealand Police is Jevin McSkimming. And Jevin, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
For the last few years now, New Zealand Police has been seen as the global example of how to mobilize their police force. Now, Jevin is here to provide some insight into how they have just been able to do that. And so first, just please share with us some background on New Zealand Police.
So New Zealand Police is a one jurisdiction department that covers the whole of New Zealand. So we're about 12,500 staff. So at the moment, just over 9,000 sworn members of police. And that's made up of 371 stations across the country.
Wow, so a little bit to organize there.
Yeah.
Several years ago, New Zealand Police set out to mobilize its workforce. What were the major initiatives that set this in motion to mobilize your workforce?
So the New Zealand Police introduced the Prevention First strategy, and the Prevention First strategy required us as a police department to find some time. And the Commissioner asked me at the time to find 500,000 hours through introducing or disrupting.
Right? Okay.
To find some time through introducing a mobility platform and then the capability on the mobility platform that would benefit the organisation to reinvest back into our victims.
So when we're talking about time, you're talking about more time of the officers being out on the field, or what are we talking about time?
Right, so more street than station, so absolutely putting the officers out on the street, making sure that they're highly visible, being involved in preventative type activities, rather than being that ambulance at the bottom of the cliff that we're there to stop crime from happening.
Right. So what tools have you utilized to create a mobile police force in New Zealand?
So we've obviously had to change some of the hardware, of course, so we've had to think not only about what we've got out on the street, but you've got to think about what's in the stations. And I was just saying to a number of people, it's hard to get people out of the stations when the loveliest place to be is in the station. So you've got to change that environment. Excuse me. And so we also put out 9,000 iPhones and really then set about developing a set of applications which enabled us to save that time.
So how have these tools changed the way that New Zealand Police operates, both in the office and in the field?
Well, it's changed it markedly. So one of the key pieces of capability we've put out is actually about writing infringements or citations at the side of the road. Now, the colloquialism in New Zealand is that you get a ticket. It became very transactional. So we don't do that anymore. It's fully electronic at the side of the road. We just click the person's name, we have a conversation. So rather than being transactional, it's about transformational. It's about changing the behaviour rather than the transaction. And then the electronic happens all in the background.
Okay. So what has been the response from users?
It's been phenomenal. So we talk about implementation by envy, so that it's so good that people want to consume it. So we go out to a small pilot group, and really it's through people seeing that pilot group, we get people requesting if they can actually get their capabilities.
Now, I know we've talked before with you guys about your use of mobile responder. I want to touch on duty, though. You know, what are the future plans in using apps like On Duty? And kind of give us a background about On Duty to further enhance your mobilized police force that you already have.
So we've got a number of features in On Duty, so you can query people, you can query locations, you can query vehicles, and you can query property, stolen property. So that's all the query type stuff. We're now really, so that's pushing information to the edge. Now we're going to be starting pushing information back. So as I said, we've got the infringement notice or the citation. You can do full traffic crash report. The really exciting thing about the traffic crash report is that it's multi-user. So if more than one officer goes to the scene, they can all be contributing real time to the same outcome, which is absolutely fantastic. So we've also got query location, and location is about giving situational awareness to an officer. So when they're going to a scene, they can see all the things that have happened there before, not only at that location, but all the locations around them. And so there is a long sort of development strategy around On Duty. So we're now working on obviously doing more location stuff, so potentially general polling, so we can start doing routine activity theory around our officers and start seeing what's going on there. And certainly family violence. So in our country, our officers, well, 44% of their time are going to family harm or family top violence type incidents. So we're going to be investing a lot around creating or taking the paperwork burden away from our officers around attending those types of incidents.
Okay, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
What about the time? Did you get your
Yeah, so we achieved 500,000 hours in the first year. So we believe now with the implementation of the infringement notice and TCR and our notings and query location that we're up over 1 million hours of benefit per annum.
Wow.
Mm.
And you said with the users, it's been well received. And do you feel like the public sees your officers more? Feel like they've
There's a
more
real
of
interesting
presence?
tension. I've again speaking to people here is that our police department, and I think many police departments across the world, the new officers coming in are of a different generation, and they come in with
True.
consumer expectation now.
Yeah.
So rather than having an enterprise world that's great and taking that home, you've got a consumer world that's better and you want to take it to work.
Yeah.
So they come to work with those same expectations. So today's good is their bad, right? So what you've got to do is continue to strive for more, because when they come into the organisation, they actually go, well, is this it?
Yeah.
Is this all you've got? So in New Zealand, while we are viewed externally that we're doing really well, internally our officers continue to put us pressure on to be better.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to share about what you guys have going on? Or some advice that you can give to others who are trying to do this as well? I know a lot around the world look to you guys and ask questions about how you've been able to do this.
So there's two things that I suppose that I think has been a real tension. So security and usability are like opposite sides of the same coin.
Right.
Is you can be secure and do very little, or you can be really usable and carry a lot of risk.
Yeah.
So someone in the organisation that is looking at going mobile has got to grapple with that tension, create a clear risk appetite strategy around how far and where that you will travel, and then they've got to own it and get some things done. So that's the first thing. And I think the second thing is that there's a real tension about personal use and work use. The success of our mobile strategy is not only its application design, it's our commissioner and through implementation by me and others, is that we've made it personal use, so that people are engaging with the technology in their own personal life before they actually get to consume it in their work life. So when the work things come along, it's really native to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know we'll continue to watch your progress we have over the years, and appreciate you sharing New Zealand's story with us today.
Well, thanks very much.
For more on this discussion, you can go to hexagonsafetyinfrastructure.com, and to watch additional episodes, you can go to HxGN TV.com. Thanks for tuning in.